Good morning on this Thursday, January 11th, 2024, 8:30 in the morning. We're live. Trooper Steve on patrol. Glad you could join us this morning. You know, for those that don't know, the Florida legislature is currently in session, and it's the time of the year where our lawmakers come together to discuss a whole slew of things. But this session, there is some traffic stuff being discussed. You know, last session, they expanded the move over law, which we talked about just the other day. And I'm always excited to see stuff like that. But how often do we talk about drivers hanging out in the left travel lane when they're doing below the speed limit? And that's what lawmakers are looking at stiffening on our roadways. So it already exists that you cannot hang out in the left lane and obstruct the flow of traffic if you're traveling below the posted speed limit. But now lawmakers want to put it in writing for major highways like we're on right now. So we're I-4 eastbound coming up on the 434 area, just entered Seminole County. I'm in the 2 center travel lane, going to be in the center travel lane once that right merge lane disappears, or that right exit lane. But this is where I drive. I like to be in the center travel lane. It gives me opportunity to basically avoid other traffic and let people get around me. But lawmakers now want to put a law into place for areas of the roadway that are 65 miles per hour posted or greater, and 2 travel lanes or more, and that if you are in that left lane, you can be cited. Citation looking at over $150, points on your driver's license. But a lot of people get, Steve, well, they shouldn't be speeding. Well, Steve, well, I'm just flowing with traffic. I understand that, guys, I really do. But when I use the term, and I said it this morning, stay in your lane with Breakfast with Bridget, I'm not saying this in any type of negative way or being malicious. I mean that stay in your lane as an area of how you should operate mentally when driving. So often we're out here cruising around and we're worried about what everyone else is doing, and then sometimes we want to be the one that corrects certain things. I have even seen where drivers will see another car coming up from right behind them, and say, for example, that blue car is going faster than me, and then intentionally slide over to slow them down. I don't know where we've been told to do stuff like this, but that is not our job. That is not our responsibility to do. When I say stay in your lane, I mean worry about the actions of you, and then ultimately respond properly to everyone else around you. I know that is easier said than done, but it is what it is. We can't control what other drivers are doing. We can't control how other drivers are acting, but we can absolutely 100% control the operation of our vehicle and the rules that we follow. And that's what we're trying to harp on here today. So I'm traveling here eastbound. I am currently doing 62, 63 back and forth in a posted 60 zone. So even in this area, we're not a posted 65, but a posted 60. If I was hanging out just driving casually in that left lane, I would impede that Nissan. I would impede the Camry coming up on the right side of your screen. The camera's reversed because it's facing backwards. And someone would be like, well, they're speeding. Well, if you want to be the one that ultimately slows other drivers down, I can put you in touch with multiple law enforcement agency recruiters that will get you a job here in a second. There are not enough cops to go around, ever. There are never, in hindsight, and the funny term, where's a cop when you need one? I say that because, look, we don't carry law enforcement in our pockets. So doing what you're supposed to be doing helps traffic. Because if you're in that left lane trying to be the referee of the road or something like that, then ultimately you're slowing things down. But because I'm kind of at the speed limit here, vehicles like this can pass me if they're choosing to go above that. I'm not here to discuss another vehicle's speed. We're here to discuss what your actions should be if you're in that left lane. And I want to demonstrate it briefly. So, we're going to do this because we're going to demonstrate it. Because, hey, at the end of the day, we're not, there's no cars really behind me. So let's demonstrate this real quick. Here we go. 3, you ready for the demo? 3, 2, let's demo. You're traveling out here on a major roadway with higher speeds greater than 65 or more miles per hour. Look at your view right now. 3 lanes eastbound. Traffic is clear to my right-hand side, and traffic is clear to the back of me. I should not be in this left travel lane. So I turn my signal on, activate to look over, I scoot on over, and then boom, I'm no longer in that left lane. I struggle with the idea that people don't want to be in the center lane or the far right. There's no excuse for it. If you are the only vehicle out and about, then you need to avoid that lane as much as possible. But if, like for an example, up ahead, I want to exit somewhere, if there was a left exit, then once I see the sign indicating, hey, you're about 2 to 3 miles out, then go ahead and slide on over. Hop on into those lanes. You can do that. That's going to be fine. The problems start to occur when us as drivers just become so tunnel vision and we're out here doing what we want. Let me paint a picture. How many times, Bridget and I were talking about this morning on Breakfast with Bridget, when a driver will parallel another vehicle out on the roadway and they're doing the exact same speed limit, up above them, no traffic, similar to what we have here, but yet you've got almost a wall of cars. So you've got one in the right travel lane, the center, and then the left travel lane. This causes such a backup. It could cause a crash. Why? Because as other faster moving traffic is approaching, now we start to get on the brakes. We start to follow too closely. We start to really make some aggressive maneuvers that really aren't necessarily appropriate for what we're doing. So you've got to be really, really cautious on how you're conducting this. So you can see here, traffic's really nice this morning. Obviously that westbound traffic coming into Seminole County from Volusia, real heavy. Would you be allowed in the left lane if you're in bumper-to-bumper traffic? Yes, you would be allowed in that left lane. Then you would be required to begin to fill those travel lanes up. But the big thing here is that constant driver stopping an open travel lane. A few other things we could talk about. When you're in that left lane, what lane do emergency vehicles utilize when they're out and about? We pass on the left-hand side. At least that's going to be our primary route, is to try to pass on the left side. So we want you to ultimately merge to the right. There's so many things other than blocking traffic or messing the flow of traffic that are taking place when you're there. That left lane should be constantly clear. So you just saw that car go by. Like, I'm not going to go faster than the semi in front of me because we're doing the speed limit. I don't need to be in the left lane because ultimately I'll be blocking that left lane. Let the other cars go. Let the traffic flow. The flow of traffic does not, hear me out, does not indicate legal speed. You heard that? The flow of traffic does not indicate legal speed. I'm going to let this vehicle in. But you should not be obstructing the flow of traffic. And you should be courteous, like I just was with this driver right here. We're going to exit up here because I do not want to go over Lake Monroe and get stuck in all that traffic. Then another thought. This is for nighttime driving. And this is just something I preach because it's something I have physically seen over the years as like a pattern. Okay? And this guy's aggressive next to me. He's all up on me. Let's talk wrong way drivers for a second. Why do you got to switch lanes so hard like that, Mr. Acura? Like, woke up angry this morning. Anyways, let's talk. See, and then he switches back because he's in such a rush that he doesn't realize what travel lane he's in and out of traffic. Why? Relax, man. Anyways, and he's a left lane driver. He's already in it. Right, center. Anyways, this is something I have physically seen in crashes over the years. When we talk about wrong way drivers, put yourself in their shoe for a second and say that normally you're not a left lane camper and you're driving the wrong way. What lane are you in when going the wrong way? The left main travel lane. Because you think you're in the right travel lane. There are a lot of things that contribute to this type of driving, whether it be confusion, some type of illness, DUI. DUI could be anything, driving under the influence of anything that impairs your normal faculties. There's no such thing as a legal limit, so just keep that in mind. If you're impaired to where you can't drive the car normal, we've got a problem. So instances like this allow you to be out of the way, possibly giving you better chances of that wrong way driver. Now, obviously what I'm saying is completely circumstantial, but it's going to give you a fighting chance, and it all lays down to the minor rules. If we're following simple traffic rules, then maybe we will avoid major traffic crashes. See how this all, it truly is a puzzle piece that we're putting together. So when you're hanging out in that left lane, I need you to think about this. What are you doing? If you are not, something smells good. If you're not actively passing the vehicle next to you, so if there was a vehicle right there and I was keeping up with it, then I should not be in that left lane anymore. I either need to back off, get behind them, or speed up, match the speed, and get in front of them so that I'm not obstructing that left lane. This is going to ultimately, this is already obstructing the flow of traffic, like impeding the flow, hanging out in the left lane is already, can be found within the Florida statute under a moving violation. And if you're in our area, you're looking at either a $164 or $166 ticket, plus 3 points on your driver's license. For what? And that's something to be so aware of, because if you're getting tickets for something that you know better of, it's 100% avoidable. Now, I can understand if you just moved here and you're oblivious, but there are not many other, I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure 99.999% of our states have something that say don't camp in the left lane, save it for the woods. There's so, it's the little things, guys, that contribute to this. So we're stuck in some traffic right now. Nice Suburban. But here, 2 lanes, 40 miles an hour, 45 through here. You wouldn't have to worry whether or not you are in that left lane or not, because it's a local road. Do you want to avoid it as much as you can? Yes, you do. But you've got to remember the little things that you're doing do contribute to bigger problems. Similar to, I could throw this out there. When you come to a traffic light and you stop too far from the intersection, that light might not recognize you. You're now creating a void where another car can be. Same thing when you're not using your turning signals. It is an indicator, not a force field. So when you're not using your turning signal, drivers don't know what you want to do, so therefore they're not preparing for you what you want to do. And the hard braking occur, creating a kind of trickle effect into traffic for slowing down. I look at all this stuff from a very big picture-esque point of view, simply because it's very simple to forget about the little stuff. But all the little stuff that we focus on affects traffic in a really, really big way. So little stuff like this. That little white Chevy to the right has had their turning signal on for a while. Why speed up? I'll slow down and let them in. And then ultimately, right lane clear. They keep moving. This guy obviously needs to get over here for some reason. They're going to slow down at some point. Let me get out of the left lane, right? Let me hang out on the right-hand side of the road, give them some space so they can flow through. So yeah, we're out here talking about the possible new law, but it can help in so much other traffic. If I'm out here and I know that I'm going to be traveling on this road for quite some time, then I'm not going to hang out in that left lane. I'm not going to impede that traffic in any way. So just because there aren't certain laws doesn't mean we shouldn't be overly focused on certain things, which is sharing the road, being cooperative with each other. So if you're just joining us this morning, the topic was left lanes, and we've discussed left lanes before, but the state legislature is now really taking it up big time, to the point where they want to ensure that you as a driver understand that if you're on a highway of speeds of 65 miles per hour or greater, which gives us portions of I-4, gives us portions of the 408, gives us portions of all of 417, the Turnpike, and travel lanes 2 or more, which are all those roads, that if you're in that left lane and not doing the speed limit or passing, if you're not passing a vehicle and you're just cruising in that left lane, even if you were not, even if you weren't affecting anybody, say you were out in the left lane at 1:30 in the morning, and you just happened to be in that left lane cruising for 2-3 miles. This would now make it a violation, even if you're not impeding any other flow of traffic. This is part of a cause to get drivers to understand it's not allowed. And I think it's good, because if we can get this ingrained into people's muscle memory, the fact that, hey, look, you're not supposed to be in that left lane whether there's traffic or not, then it will start to get people to think about that left lane more often and add that to our repertoire of things that we do on a daily basis to keep ourselves and the motoring public safe. So I entered a residential area when I got off I-4, and now I'm all messed up. But you saw what I was talking about when we were on I-4 and how difficult the flow of traffic can be. Even when there is no traffic, you got drivers in and out. You should not even be a driver darting in and out of traffic. We saw that one white Acura a moment ago behind me, tailgate me, was in the center lane, move to the right, move to the center, move to the left, go to the right, all to travel in and out of traffic. Improper passing, depending if we got a speed reader on it, and failure to use turning signals and maybe following too closely could be considered reckless or careless when you're out there. So there are a lot of different things that the left lane law is going to groom us to do better, if that makes sense. At least I hope so. So left lanes, guys, that's what we talked about today. Really appreciate it. It's hard to really see everything during these hours, but when we get to talk about it, break it down, demo the cameras, and have you feel maybe the movements a little bit, it definitely helps out. So if you joined us today, we talked about left lane laws getting a lot stiffer here in the state of Florida, possibly. State legislature has proposed 2 lanes or more, speeds at 65 greater or more. No driver shall be in the left lane unless actively passing, and it would become a primary stop with a moving violation here in Central Florida that cost over $160, 3 points on your driver's license. So you must be prepared, you must be cautious, and you really have to be cognizant of what you're doing all the time. Driving is not a time to catch up on life, it's a time to drive the car. Love you guys, have a great day, and as always, wear your seatbelt and be safe.